Get ready for more showers, some thunderstorms, and this active weather pattern will continue for a little while longer, but tomorrow is our transition day. Then we're putting a lid on thunderstorm activities and letting sunshine take the wheel. Hey everyone, good afternoon. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center. We're about to take a deep dive into your most reliable forecast. Now yes, we have been in an active weather pattern really through the last couple of days, and we are not done with it just yet. Tomorrow begins our transition day. So let's go ahead and look around Central Oregon. Right now, through the Tri-County area, we do have a whole lot of cloud cover, and so we're continuing to see some of these showers push through. When we look at our roads, these cameras all courtesy of the Oregon Department of Transportation, some of our roads are wet, especially where we have been getting these showers. So looking at satellite and radar, some of those showers right now are south of Bend. Now Bend has been getting off and on showers, just like Sisters, Redmond, and other parts of Central Oregon. But when we look to the eastern side of the map, the right side of the map, that's where we're starting to see some of that thunderstorm activity roll into parts of the Tri-County area. Now, even just a couple of hours ago, these thunderstorms that are rolling this way were a little bit more robust, but since they were moving over an area that had already gotten rain, it took a little bit of juice out of the thunderstorm potential. And we're still looking at the potential for more thunderstorms through this afternoon, this evening, and even, yes, possibly tonight. And when we look across the other parts of Central or the other parts of the state, what we're seeing is there are some thunderstorms over South Central Oregon and Southwestern Oregon. Good news is a thunderstorm with some abundant rainfall just pushed through the immigrant fire footprint. In other parts of the state, we do have some thunderstorms for the eastern side of the state, and we are going to continue to track those. But ultimately, through Central Oregon, we just have a couple of showers and some thunderstorms just now rolling in. And when we look at the bigger picture, we do see that this is all part of a system that's going to continue to impact us. I'm going to come back to that. Let's go ahead and just look at our 12-hour lightning strike map. And it says 5,000 lightning strikes in the last, it says 1,000 lightning strikes. The 24-hour map said 5,000 lightning strikes, but most of those are way off to our east. That's where we have 2,200 plus lightning strikes just for the Tri-County area. If I can get that to block it off just right there. Okay, good. Fewer than 60 lightning strikes for Central Oregon so far, but more are expected now when we go ahead and look at the 24-hour one. That's where we have the 2,300. The bigger one shows even more lightning strike, mostly over the eastern side of the state in north central Oregon. Now, let's go back to that satellite and radar just to see exactly what's been happening. And here through the last couple of days, we've still had this persistent pattern where it's been wetter, cooler, breezy at times, and some thunderstorms. We're not done with that yet. In fact, we stay in this pattern for one more night, and here's why. When we look at the bigger picture and switch products, what we're looking at now is infrared satellite imagery, and there's an enhancement that really pulls out those tall clouds where we have deep convection, a lot of thunderstorm potential, and you can see that over eastern Crook County right now, where there's a lot of thunderstorm activity and those bright orange and even red clouds as those thunderstorms are rolling in. Now through the rest of the Tri-County area, there are a couple of clouds that call for a little bit of concern, but most of them are working their way to the east in the higher elevations, and in South Central Oregon a few more. But when we look at the bigger picture, we do see a broad ridge of high pressure that's out over the Pacific. This Pacific high, that is going to build into the Pacific Northwest through the next couple of days. And really, it's going to be what we refer to as a transient high, meaning it's not sticking around, it's not anchoring itself over the region, it's not parking itself in place because another system rolls in on Sunday. But as this high pressure starts to build to the north, just offshore, that's going to work its way over the map. That's when we start to see more sunshine. So tomorrow indeed is the transition day. That's Thursday of this week. So here through the next couple of hours, we keep this chance for some thunderstorms to impact parts of the high desert, everything working its way east to west. And then through the overnight hours, some lingering showers. Now, this time 24 hours ago, what we saw was a chance of more lightning during the early morning hours. That has since dulled itself just a little bit, and we're looking at a chance of some showers with the potential for a few thunderstorms. And even through the day Thursday, thunderstorm chances remain low, but there's still going to be a chance for a few isolated cells becoming capable of producing some lightning. So it's still in the 7-day planner, but it's not as much as what we've been seeing the last couple of days. Then on the backside of this low, all of what you've seen so far in the forecast has been as that low works its way to the east. We're looking at clearing overnight. By Friday and Saturday, more sunshine. That sunshine is set up under a stable atmosphere with subsidence because of our ridge of high pressure, and that's when we're putting the cap on the thunderstorm potential. Not much more is expected. Now, there is a series of flash flood watches across our Tri-County area and really further out. But for Central Oregon, the western half of Central Oregon, the 97 corridor, Redmond, going all the way over to Prineville, that's where we have everything that's going to be in effect until 10 or 11 p.m. this evening. The eastern half of Central Oregon, taking Prineville out of the equation, that's where it goes until 11 p.m. Thursday. And essentially areas of poor drainage and areas that have some recent burn scars. If any thunderstorms train over the area, that means multiple storms going over the same track, or one storm that slowly moves over that area. It could be some areas that are prone to some flash flooding. So it is going to be possible, but not likely widespread. A quick look outside one more time with those Oregon Hazards Lab cameras, and we do have a little bit of haze, but mostly clouds with some showers rolling through. So just even looking at our air quality, the DEQ hourly average shows green across the map, good air quality. Most of our East Bay sensors are also showing good air quality, with a pair that are just moderate air quality. So not too bad at the moment. Relative humidity pretty high, especially where we have the 90s, like 99 in Sun River. And remember, this is measured in percentages, so even the dry spot on the map, Warm Springs, at 48%, that's still pretty good compared to what we typically see in late summer going into early fall. Now, high temperatures in the last 24 hours, some of these are even holdovers from yesterday. Look at this, 50s and 60s with 77 degrees in Warm Springs, and that's pretty much where we're sitting at this moment. 50s and 60s with a few 70s on the map, or I should say 60s with a few 50s and 70s out there. Now that puts us between 7 degrees warmer and 12 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago, and essentially where we were getting rain yesterday, we saw the big dip in temperatures today, another dip in temperatures, but for some of us it's near and a little bit warmer than it was just this time yesterday. Now for tonight, we fall back into the 50s and 40s with a few 30s possible where there's some clearing in our higher elevations, and by tomorrow lower 70s with some 60s. Again, there is a series of flash flood watches in effect. The latest ones go until 11 p.m. Thursday. Now, let's look at the overall weather pattern. Because we have this low pressure that's continuing to impact Central Oregon as it pushes to the east, that counterclockwise rotation is bringing us an east to west flow, becoming northeast to southwest flow. And the potential for some thunderstorms continues tonight and into tomorrow, but it's not going to stick around for too long, because by Friday our ridge of high pressure starts to build into the region. That pair of lows that's further to the east, those start to taper or just fizzle out, and highs on Friday are mostly going to be in the mid to upper 70s. Some 80s are expected by Saturday through the 70s. Reaching into the 80s is that axis, the ridge axis, the center of circulation. If you draw a line right through it, that's what the axis is. As that sits over the Pacific Northwest, we're looking at our peak heating, and then another system, you can see it just offshore at this point, starts to roll in. That brings an even better chance of rain by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. So between now and Friday at 11 p.m., we're still going to get wet. We still have showers and some thunderstorms on the way, so we are not quite done with it just yet. And after that high pressure sets up, we have a 48-hour window where we're looking at sunshine and temperatures warming up. But that's going to be a brief break between systems, because our next one rolls in on Sunday. And then by Monday, we start to clear out once again. So let's take this little by little, looking at a different forecast model. The one I showed you before was a high-resolution forecast model. This one, not as high resolution, but still pretty good. And you can already start to see with those streamlines, the wind flow pattern, you can see that high-pressure ridge building just offshore. When we dive in and take a closer look, some scattered showers and some thunderstorms continue through 7 p.m. and then by the overnight hours we get our periods of clearing, some AM showers, and then by tomorrow afternoon a few sprinkles, maybe a thunderstorm or two before we really clear out as that low pushes off to the east. And under sunshine, our warming trend begins, and it's going to be brief, just Friday and Saturday, but it's eventually going to bring us back to near average for this time of year. And average high temperatures for Redmond is 81 and for Bend is 78 degrees. Now, also on the flip side of that, the average low is in the lower to mid 40s, and we haven't been seeing that. So we are running above normal for lows and below normal for highs. Now, our forecast model, taking a look at the long range one, see the word letters GFS in the top right corner. This is the long range American forecast model. It actually shows that as this, I'm sorry, I went backwards. Okay, so let's try this again. It actually shows that that system is going to continue to fizzle out. And then by Sunday, that next one rolls into the region. And that's going to bring more showers, maybe some thunderstorms as well. And then we start to clear out late Monday. So that next low is going to take its time before it really gets out of here. By Tuesday and Wednesday, we're back to more sunshine than cloud cover, and temperatures begin to rebound again. So between now and 7 a.m. on Thursday, many of us are going to get wet, not quite everybody, and some thunderstorms are going to be included. By Thursday, not much added to the map. And then by Friday, again, not much added to the map. So most of our precipitation in the next couple of days comes through the rest of today and overnight with a few sprinkles left in the morning. Meanwhile, wind gusts are not too bad. Gusts are between 5 and 15 miles per hour, so actual wind speeds are more to light breeze. And so what that means for us is it will be getting breezy at times during the next couple of hours. With this graphic, everything to the left of the white line is observed, everything to the right is forecast. But notice tonight, we come back down to a light breeze, but it doesn't completely calm down. And through Thursday, it's still going to become breezy during the afternoon and evening hours, wind shifting from the southwest to the north, and then continuing to swing around as we go forward. And by Friday, mostly just a light breeze. So for tonight, some lingering showers, but periods of clearing, lows in the 40s and 50s for the most part. And then through Thursday, we're looking at 70s with some 60s and a few 80s on the map. So Thursday, temperatures begin to rebound. By Friday, a warming trend sets up that continues through Saturday. Friday and Saturday will be our break between systems. Then that next system rolls through on Sunday. So truly, roller coaster temperatures through the next 7 days. Lows are going to follow that roller coaster trend, 50s and 40s, but for the most part, highs are going to be in the 70s with a few days where we reach into the 80s. So a quick look at your weather headlines for this Wednesday, September the 10th. We are looking at more storms through tonight. Flash flood watches in effect until 11 p.m. tonight, and another one until 11 p.m. Thursday for the eastern half of the Tri-County area. Then here comes the sun. On Friday, we're going to wrap up the work week and go into the weekend under a transient ridge of high pressure. That means no more thunderstorms for a little bit, but all that's going to change again on Sunday. That's the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. We'll see you then.